Hello everyone, and welcome to my CBS Bold and Beautiful Today channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Despite Katie's warning, Will's Rebound romance spirals out of control. According to teasers on The Bold and the Beautiful, Katie Logan Spencer has to keep her attention on Logan. However, Will Spencer, her son, is more significant than that. Now that he seems to have permanently lost his first love, he needs his mother's assistance. It is not Electra Forrester's fault that Will was dropped. She had finally had enough after being pushed through a lot. During his recent spin-out, Will hit RJ Forrester several times and landed his fist on Eric Forrester's face while going for another. Electra's back was broken by that soapy straw. Devoted admirers remember Finnegan George's performance as the little son of Bill Spencer and Katie. With the arrival of Morosora's D edition, George was written out of the cast. Will's younger self worshipped his father as a hero. A noteworthy parting scene included George's version discussing the importance of money with his father at Spencer Publications, which seasoned soap opera fans probably realized it represented. Dollar Bill cherished his youngest kid, who was more like him than either Wyatt or Liam Spencer had ever been or would ever be. But Will has done the same, verbally reprimanding his father for his problems. Electra is certain that the woman who showed up as Hayes Finnegan's summer school art instructor in Los Angeles, California, over a year ago is a liar. As a hint, Hayes and a few other kids were taught by Melissa Dillon in the beach house, which served as a temporary classroom. Luna Nozawa capitalized on Dillon's recent arrival in the area and the setting's rural location. She was famously chained, gagged, and placed in a closet by Yamada's evil persona. When Will offered Bullock the garage apartment, he welcomed her emerging personality onto his home. After Electra left, he embraced Dillon and seemed ready to accept her as his first girlfriend's replacement. Katie's most recent, and probably last, sincere attempt to make amends with Brooke Logan Forrester was unsuccessful. She is hence completely loyal to the Spencer family. The new fashion house won't be neglected, and like all responsible parents, they are able to multitask and give their family's demands their whole attention. Katie put a lot of effort into getting married to Bill again. They will continue to mentor their son, who has had an awful past year, together. There are no indications that the more torturous Spencer Forrester-Logan conflict will stop. Katie, Will, Bill, and the other Spencers will continue to fight after that. In order to determine whether Dillon is worthy of her son's affection, Katie will probably put her to the test. Electra rushes to RJ and Dillon's Mrs. Will Spencer mission. Melissa Dillon will have a new objective regarding her future with Will Spencer, according to The Bold and the Beautiful. Here's what fans should anticipate: Electra Forrester will also seek solace from RJ Forrester. First, Electra will update RJ about Will's situation at the beach house. RJ will reassure Electra that she made the correct decision after she acknowledges that she once again declined to see Will again. Nevertheless, RJ will recognize that Electra is in pain and will want to help her in any way he can. According to previews, Electra will try to let go of Will, so she might ask RJ to help her move on and even plant a kiss. Dillon will make it her goal to join the Spencer family in the interim. It appears that Dillon hopes to win over the other Spencer family members and eventually become Mrs. Will Spencer. Naturally, it won't be simple to win Katie Logan Spencer over. By midweek, Katie and Dillon will have some unpleasant moments, so be prepared for a really tense meeting. Carter and Daphne Rose Walton will have another difficult conversation about their most recent failure. Daphne was devastated by her infertility because she was so eager to have a family with Carter. That family is still possible, but not in the manner that Carter and Daphne had envisioned. Carter will try his hardest to persuade Daphne of his unwavering love and dedication, even though she will feel as like she is disappointing him. However, Carter will be more affected by Daphne's awful news than he is acknowledging. More problems in their marriage could result from Daphne's perception that Carter is concealing the extent of his suffering. Don't miss what is next for Daphne and Carter, since spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful indicate that they will encounter additional challenges. Dollar Bill is wary of Dillon. Dillon will keep interfering in Will Spencer's heartbroken life this week on The Bold and the Beautiful. At the bikini bar, Dylan promised her best friend that she would make Will her guy, and she obviously meant business. According to spoilers, not everyone will approve of Dollar Bill Jr.'s new girlfriend. Here are the next events on Bold and Beautiful. Continue reading for more information. Bill Spencer advised his son to let go of Electra Forrester, but he didn't mean the homeless scammer who might or might not be a gold digger. Spoilers for this week's episode of Bold and the Beautiful indicate that Dylan will keep hanging out with Will Spencer Jr. It seems that Electra Forrester's threats were ignored. Dylan will do everything in his power to win over Will Spencer's parents. However, spoilers for Bold and the Beautiful suggest that Bill Spencer won't be a fan, raising concerns. It will be difficult to avoid thirsty Dylan, but he will advise Will Spencer to avoid him. Dylan has a mission. For some time now, spoilers for Bold and the Beautiful have suggested that Dylan may be pretending to be innocent and may have dubious hidden agendas. You can't help but wonder if Will Spencer has been a target all along or if she is truly in love with him. Dylan's true nature is beginning to emerge now that Electra Forrester has moved aside. Dollar Bill will make it his goal to discover whether Dylan is concealing something dubious from her history. Is Will's father onto something? Carter is devastated by the baby news, and Daphne becomes desperate? Carter Walton's wife Daphne Rose will deliver heartbreaking news to him this week on The Bold and the Beautiful. At last, Carter's wife will tell her husband about the devastating diagnosis she received from Lee Finnegan. Daphne's early menopause prevents her from becoming pregnant, despite their months-long attempts to conceive. Spoilers for Bold and the Beautiful indicate that Carter won't be pleased to learn that Daphne is infertile. They hurried to say I do in order to have a family. For years, Carter's only desire has been to start his own family. It makes sense that Daphne's husband would be angry, but he's not a monster. At some point, Carter Walton will reassure his wife that he will support her. However, he will be keen to investigate alternative approaches to childbearing. According to teasers for Bold and Beautiful, Carter is likely to advocate for adoption or a surrogate. In order to give birth to a son or daughter for her husband, who has a baby fever, Daphne Rose will be in a panic. There are rumors on the internet that she will even ask Steffi Forrester, her best friend, to think about serving as their surrogate. Will Carter and Daphne's marriage endure while they visit adoption agencies and fertility specialists? Spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful have suggested that the newlyweds might become involved in a dubious backdoor adoption. Daphne might attempt to expedite an adoption by giving money to a pregnant woman. The soap show has previously had a baby broker scandal. Do you believe Daphne and Carter's union will endure? Will Daphne break the law in an attempt to conceive before her husband departs? Dylan's secret revealed, Monaco chaos, and a plane scare. Spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful point to a few surprises for the upcoming 2 weeks. Along with potential plane issues, we can anticipate some twists in Monaco. Melissa Dillon meets Katie Logan Spencer in the interim. Discover what will happen next in the soap opera by continuing to read. Let's discuss what will happen the week of August 3, 2026, before moving on to the 2-weekers. Electra Forrester must first acknowledge that she cannot have it both ways. Given that she is the one who frequently moves out, she has no right to expect Will Spencer to behave like a priest. With R.J. Forrester, Electra will undoubtedly attempt to move on from Will. For the young woman, though, I believe this will be easier said than done. Will could keep seeing more of Dylan. Dylan will eventually have to tell Wyatt Spencer that her name isn't Nancy. Dylan will also meet Katie this week. Katie will not feel the same way about Dylan as she did about Electra. Katie actually chooses to investigate Dylan's past. It seems like Dylan's life is going to become more complicated. Carter and Daphne Rose Walton will grieve for the family they believed they would have. Will they choose to start a family in a different way later on? Or might they be torn apart by this? What else can be anticipated is that Steffi Forrester Finnegan travels to Monaco. Later on, the woman intends to meet John Finn Finnegan there. Sheila Carter discovers their destination, though, since Finn makes the error of leaving his laptop open. Additionally, it is hinted that Finn encounters unanticipated turbulence. Is Finn's aircraft in danger? According to spoilers for this week's episode of The Bold and the Beautiful, Deacon Sharp may pursue Taylor Hayes. Is a marriage proposal possible? There will be scenes between Steffi and Sheila in Monaco. That ought to be really fascinating and intense. Dylan will also keep becoming closer to Will. But I'm concerned that she might catch him before he discovers her true intentions. Lee does what Steffi was never able to. Lee and Finn's discussion regarding Sheila and Steffi continued the episode. Steffi ended the discussion right away. She told Finn to make sure Sheila would never be a part of their life, dismissing his affections for his birth mother. However, Finn is secretly aware that Sheila has changed. He has personally seen some of those shifts. But Steffi insisted time and again that Sheila is inherently wicked. She firmly believes that Sheila cannot be saved. Steffi claims that having Sheila around their family poses a safety concern that she cannot ignore. Finn wanted to discuss his position on this issue with Lee. He insisted that his wife and family come first. Lee made the final step that Steffi had been unable to make in that tender moment. She wanted to know Finn's thoughts on the matter. All Finn said was that he could see all sides of this issue. He reiterated Steffi's position that Sheila couldn't be present. Lee, however, was curious about Finn's feelings for Sheila. At last, he acknowledged that Sheila was deserving of another shot. He maintained that she would suffer rather than benefit from isolation. Finn ignored his own personal problems in order to prioritize his wife since he was desperate to keep his marriage intact. Regardless of the personal cost, he promised to provide Steffi with whatever she needed. Lee was grateful that her son put his wife first, but the real test was still to come. Knowing that the two women had developed an unanticipated bond, Finn pleaded with his mother for assistance in keeping Sheila at bay. Finn is aware that he must stop allowing Sheila to remain in the background since Steffi is already under a great deal of stress due to the growing conflict between Forrester and Spencer. Finn is forced to face the fact that he cannot escape his biology indefinitely when Lee is around. Finn needs to quit hiding behind Steffi's demands and eventually express his true feelings for Sheila if he wants to find true peace. At last, Will asked Electra the incorrect question. Will and Electra, two young lovers, have faced numerous difficulties in their relationship. They are currently victims of the Forresters and Spencer's fashion war. Since Electra abandoned him and let Dylan console him, Will has been a complete disaster. Electra quickly found out about Will and Dylan's evening together. Electra addressed her ex-boyfriend in a furious manner, accusing him of moving on too soon. Will swiftly defended himself when he heard Electra's tirade about having another lady in the house. She was the one who left, Will reminded her, and it wasn't the first time. He continued by describing how devastated he has been and how he is unable to live a single existence. Will showed signs of developing a backbone and held his own against Electra. By the end, however, he had returned to his former personality and was pleading with Electra to return home. It's clear that Will is struggling to move on from Electra and is not over her. Additionally, it appears like Electra is obsessed with her ex and doesn't want anyone to have him. If Will and Electra simply got back together, it would be simple and quick. But it's clear from their most recent exchange that the two still need to grow up. Will and Electra are undeniably in love. However, the pair is unaware that maintaining a relationship depends on other variables. Electra has insisted that she wants Will to be truthful. Electra departed for the first time after learning that Will had let Dylan inside the beach house while she was on vacation. It was enough to undermine Electra's trust even though nothing happened. Electra made Will swear that there would be no more secrets if they eventually reconciled. Will, however, betrayed that pledge by remaining silent regarding Hope's employment at Logan.